Let's look at adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing functions. For this first example, we have f plus g of 5. So let's rewrite our problem as f of 5 plus g of 5. So we're taking the value of 5 and plugging into each function. First, if we plug 5 into f of x, which is x squared plus 3, we get 5 squared plus 3. 5 squared plus 3 is 25 plus 3, and that gives us 28. When we plug 5 into g, we get the square root of 5 minus 1, which is the square root of 4, and we know that the square root of 4 is 2. Therefore, 28 plus 2 is 30. So example 2 is very similar, except we are subtracting f minus h of 2. So let's rewrite it. F of 2 minus h of 2. Let's first find f of 2. If we remember, f of x is x squared plus 3. Therefore, plugging 2 in, we get 2 squared plus 3. That gives us 4 plus 3, which is 7. Now we're going to subtract h of 2. So let's plug 2 in to h of x. Now if you look up at the top, h of x is 1 over 3x minus 2. So let's take 1 over 3x. We're plugging 2 for x. So we get 1 over 3 times 2 minus 2. This gives us 1 over, and 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4. So we get 7 minus 1/4. Now we want to put our answer in simplified form, and to do this we need to combine these into one fraction. So let's get a common denominator. 7 minus 1/4. To subtract the 2, we need a common denominator, and the denominator that's in common would be 4. So let's convert each fraction to something over 4. 7 can be converted to 28/4, and of course we already have 1/4. Therefore, now we can say 28 minus 1 all over 4, which gives us 27/4. And this is our answer. Okay, let's look at number 3, g times h of 1. This represents multiplication, so we are multiplying g of 1 times h of 1. Okay, so this time our x value is 1. So we want to take 1 and plug it first into g of x. That will give us, let's see, g of x is x minus 1. So that would be 1 minus 1. The square root of 0 is 0. Then we have h of 1. Now remember, h of x is at the top of our page, and it is 1 over 3x minus 2. So let's plug 1 in for h, and we get 1 over 3 times 1 minus 2, which gives us 1 over 3 minus 2, which is 1 over 1. Therefore, g of 1 is 0, h of 1 is 1, and 0 times 1 is 0. Now let's look at number 4, f divided by g with respect to 5. So let's rewrite it. This would be f of 5 divided by g of 5. Okay, so let's plug 5 in for f of x. We've actually done this before, but let's do it again. F of x, as we know, is x squared plus 3. So 5 squared plus 3 gives us 25 plus 3 and 28. In the denominator, we have g with respect to 5. We have, what is that, the square root of 5 minus 1, which we found earlier too is the square root of 4, which is 2. Therefore, f of 5 divided by g of 5 is 28 divided by 2, and we get 14. Now let's look at composite functions. As you recall, we can rewrite a composite function as f of g of 10. 10 is our value for x that we're going to plug into g of x. Let's work inside the brackets first. Let's first find g of 10. So the function g is the square root of x minus 1, so let's plug 10 in. That gives us the square root of 9, which is 3. So g of 10 is 3. Now we'll take 3, we'll plug it back in to f of x. So g of 10 was 3. Let's plug it into the function f. F is x squared plus 3, so we have 3 squared plus 3. That gives us 9 plus 3, which equals 12. Some people like to use a shortcut. So if you go to the original problem, you can plug 10 into g. That gave us 3. And then take 3, plug it into f. And that gave us 12. Now let's look at number 6. We're doing the composite function, but it involves 3 functions. So we will work from the right back towards the left. So let's start with the function h. Let's find h of 1. So if we look at the top of the screen, h is 1 over 3x squared minus 2. So we'll plug in 1. That gives us 1 over 3 minus 2, which equals 1. So h of 1 is 1. Now we'll take that value and plug it into g. So let's find g of 1. Now remember, our function g is up here. It's the square root of x minus 1. So plugging in 1, we get the square root of 0, which is 0. And one more time, now let's take that 0 and we'll plug it back into the original f. So let's find f of 0. Remember, our function f is x squared plus 3. So let's do 0 squared plus 3. That gives me 3. So remember, our shortcut way of looking at it is if we look at the top of the original problem, we took 1 and we plugged it into h, and that gave us 1. Then we took 1, we plugged it into g, that gave us 0. And then we finally took that 0, plugged it back into f, and that gave us 3, and 3 was our final answer.